others seem to be okay, so that's better. Yes, welcome back to another one of my videos. Hopefully in this episode we're going to get the engine in and get it running. So let's scoop forward and enjoy the ride. Yeah, we had a little mention about the torquing down on this, about the grease on the threads. One of our subscribers mentioned that when you've got grease on the threads, it's probably better to go down by about 20% on the torque setting, which is probably right about as well, because once you've got grease on there, you've created less friction. So it's going to torque down to a higher pressure, even though it's not clicking on the torque wrench. Now I had a problem with one of them. The others seemed to be okay. But one bolt at the bottom was giving me trouble torquing down. And when I took it out, I found out why. Because I'd put a little bit too much grease, and that came onto the face of the washer, and that reduced the friction on the surface. And that's why it wasn't torquing down. So really you should make sure, put some grease on, but clean everything off afterwards, and just make sure there's just a small amount of grease on the threads, just so it goes in and it doesn't pick up the threads on the way out. That's all it's for, to stop you stripping threads on the barrel. But just be careful with the torquing up. If you feel it's going too much, just back it off and clean everything up and start again. So here's our clutch, it's sort of ready to go in. It's been soaking for quite a while. We'll just pop that all in, put the clip in and check for our clearance. That we've got clearance on the plates so they can actually disengage. Now that's fully down. We'll stick our spring in, clip. Okay, so yeah, that's not so bad. We've got some clearance on the clutch when it's fully engaged, fully disengaged. Now I like to have 3 mil, but that I would say is about 2.5 mil. But I think it should be okay. I'm sure when that clutch has been under compression for a little while, it'll be 3 mil. Okay, this is ready to go together. We've got a nice fresh gasket on there. I haven't put any grease. Some people put grease to help them when they replace the gasket again, but I never use a gasket twice. Always bin it anyway, so I don't use grease on them. Always put a new gasket. If you're thinking grease is going to help, when you take it off you can reuse it again, forget it. Once you've squashed the gasket, that's it, it's finished with. Replace it. Okay, we've got another little issue here that we've got to try and sort out, and maybe I should have done this earlier, but it's probably good to do it now because everything sort of lines up. So this engine casing is the earlier engine casing. It doesn't have the lug for your bolt on the exhaust that's underneath here. This bolt is very important to fit. It's a case of, it's a triangulation. This one and the other two are in a triangular formation. That triangularization gives it strength. So this is why this was put in. In a sense, he had problems with exhaust cracking, and that's why that modification was made. So what we're going to do is, we're going to drill out this bit here. We're going to drill here and tap, and then I'm going to put a plate from there to there, and then I'm going to weld it in. I have before moved the entire plate over to here, but that's far trickier. So I've decided this time we're just going to simply put a plate in there and bolt it into there. So that's another little job we're going to have to do now. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of tape onto my drill bit. So that acts as a depth gauge, so I don't go through the casing and get myself an oil leak. So we'll drill this out now, down to our depth. Okay, there we go. Now that's our pilot drill in. Now we've got to take it out to the right size for the tapping. So let's find our 6.2. Okay. Now we're going to have to tap it out. Okay, my T drive here that I've got, it didn't fit my tap. So we've had to use a socket. It's a little trick here. The square bit that normally goes on here, you fit on your tap. Then you use an Allen key drive in the socket and then your T-bar on the end. So now you've got yourself a T-bar, and then we can tap this out successfully. So now we've got a fixing point. Okay, we'll just run our plug in as well. It should go down fairly easy, I'd have thought. We'll run that right the way down to the bottom. And that's it, bottomed out. Okay, so now we've got a nice even thread all the way down to the bottom. And right, before our bracket is welded up in position, we need to make sure that the exhaust is all bolted down correctly and not under any stress. Okay, it's tacked in place. And another rod. More rods, Chiswick. Okay, so far so good. Whoo, baby! Gonna have to flip it right over. Bit of protection on it, and we'll weld the other side in. Okay, that's that fully welded in. Look, I'm sure there's lots of people out there that have fitted RT kits, so if you're watching this video right now, comment down below about your experience with the RT kit. have to change the cable because this is the one that fits with the brass elbow, and it's super long, the inner. So I'm going to change it for this one, which is more, which you can fit with these carbs because they're much better. It's got a shorter cable on the inside. So this is going to be fitted now. So change of that cable as well. Sometimes the only cure is alcohol. Ah, yes. Oh yes. Has to be. Okay, the carburetor's on. The exhaust is on. Just a few bits and I'll be ready to start it up. In a little while, eh? In a little while. That's better. We'll sort that problem out later. My stand, it's the exhaust. Genius. Okay. Right, okay, it's going to take a little bit of work on the carburetor. It's bogging down on the bottom end a little bit, so I might change the atomizer to the Polini atomizer with the multiple holes, smaller holes, 20 hole I think, and maybe modify the slide a little bit just to get that cleaner, crisper pickup at the bottom end. But when it starts to pick up, it clears up nicely. Shouldn't be too difficult to get this jetted really nice. We'll have a little play with it and see what happens. We took the float bowl off and we're going to have a look what we've got inside of here. We'll take the atomizer out first, completely. And see what we've got. This I need my magnifying glass. It's only a 12 hole atomizer, which I find that they typically put in the 21 mils. It's got less atomization holes in it. So we'll step it up a little bit and we'll go for the next one up. That's got 12, this has got 16. And this one is, I believe, 20. But that's the Polini one, and I'm thinking of going straight for the Polini because it always works better with these in. You just get a much better, it's a much better quality atomizer than the one you get with the PWK copy carb. So I normally change to this if I have any issues at all and go for a proper Polini atomizer. But we will have to change the jet as well because it fits a different type of main jet in it. So we'll put this Polini atomizer in for starters. And find us a suitable main jet. Let's have a look at what was in it. Okay, it's running on a 105 at the moment, which ain't far out. That's probably about right actually. So we'll just get another 105. Right, it's a 38 pilot jet, and I really don't want to go down much smaller than that on the pilot, you know. So let's see. We're going to leave the pilot jet as it is with the 38 in it. Don't like going down too small on the pilot. Let's just see what happens with the different atomizer first, one step at a time. Right, we've changed to the Polini atomizer. Let's see what difference it's going to make. Yes, I can't turn the ignition back on now. Oh yeah, it is on. It's a broken key, I turn it on with a screwdriver. Oh yeah. Completely different. Right, we can set up our timing now. Now we've got get an engine that's running a bit better. Time to put a strobe on it. Well, thanks again everybody for having the patience to come and watch one of my videos. Don't forget to subscribe, ding that little bell and you'll get all my notifications, and don't forget to share with your friends. See you all later.